Yo, what's up, everybody? Let me know where you're tuning in from. Today, we're talking about how to uplevel your speech, how to improve your speech. So, if you're communicating on any level, and I try not to confuse people because I primarily, work with leaders, consultants, speakers, authors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs, business professionals who are communicating, anything from, speeches, pitches, uh, communication campaigns, PR campaigns, media tours, book tours, all this stuff. And it's good to have a filter to know how to review and how you can improve. I always say it's hard to read the label when you're inside the bottle. So this will help you read your label a bit. Although I do believe the outside perspective is just, irreplaceable. But I also believe that your own self, you know, critique and feeling about your own service with your message and your voice is important. So I want to give you some things that I walk people through on how to effectively review a speech. What's up, Jess Jones? What's up, Kodash? What's up? Same here, Globals. Always shouting out my mental health advocate. So, um, let me go into the process, the speech review process. And by the way, if you're watching this replay, let me know where you're tuning in from. Show me some love. I always like engaging in the comments in the aftermath because I know, catch me live is like catching the wind sometimes. So the first thing, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna share my screen because that'll be easier. Let me share my screen here. Okay. And if at any point you want a copy of this, just put hashtag, speech review in the comments. Just type speech review in the comments. But let me go to this. Okay. All right, cool. There we go. So you should be able to see screen now. All right, cool. So speech review process. So I'm going to start. Let me make this a little bit bigger. So we're going to start here. This is the first thing that I ask myself after a speech. Okay, did I say, do / accomplish what God sent me to say / do / accomplish? And as a high performer myself, and as a person who's always trying to do my best and critique everything, it's like I can critique a lot of things and forget critiquing the main thing. Okay, I'm gonna say it again. I can critique a lot of things, but forget to critique and assess the main thing. I'll tell you an example. Like early in my speaking journey, all I really had was the ability to articulate my story. And I didn't even really do that well. That's all I knew. I didn't have a lot of content, didn't have a lot of bars, didn't have a lot of any of that. And I got really good because there's this part of my story where there's these two women who one's this nurse, one's my grandma, who come in and say, Daryl, will you say yes to God? Will you say yes to him? And I got really good at, rehearsing what I'm saying, performing and saying the same thing and telling the story in the same way. And I lost the connection to it. And I'll never forget when I did this speaking engagement for a high school in Georgia. And I went through my whole spiel, say yes. And I'll never forget that, I believe that those two women came in there for me to say yes to God. So I would say yes, so that I would be here in front of you, so that you would say yes. Then right now, somebody say yes, say yes, say yes, say yes, say yes, say yes. When I, whatever, I'm like messing it up right now. But I would get in that whole rhythm back then. And it was all scripted. And it would work. People would make faith decisions. People would change their life. People would stop using drugs. People would make powerful decisions. I mean, it was working on one level. And I'll never forget doing that. And I feel like God showed me this vision. And I saw what could have happened if I wasn't so attached to my script. It's like I saw more impact, and it grieved my heart. And I was like, man, If I was just assessing my speech, I would have been like, man, I nailed it. I had good storytelling. I had good stage presence. I had good, enunciation of my words. I had dictation. I had pause. I had pace. I had rhythm, cadence. I made great eye contact. I didn't say too many times. I was hilarious. I was authentic. I got through all my PowerPoint slides. I hit all my key objectives. But I actually didn't accomplish the deepest thing that was in my heart to accomplish. I didn't fulfill my purpose. I just nailed my performance. And it grieved my heart that that's what I did. And man, I see that happen in this industry time and time and time again. People are nailing their performances, but they're not really fulfilling their purpose. And, it's felt in the room. You're like, man, that was good. Ooh. And you're like, something's hollow though. There's not a substance. There's like something missing. There wasn't a purpose intact. There was just a performance happening. And performances are great. We live in Nashville, Tennessee area. There's lots of performances going on. We love it. It's a good old time. But speaking is not for performing. Speaking is for transforming. Speaking is for connecting, conversating, empowering. That's what speaking is for. And so, don't get so caught up in where did I stand? How did I look? Did I use the right stores? Did all my points make sense? Because all that stuff is secondary and tertiary. The thing that's primary and mandatory when you review your speech is, did you do /say /accomplish all that was in your God sent you there to accomplish? And if that language triggers you for whatever reason, I'm not here to trigger anybody. I'm like, did you say what only you could say? Did you say what was on your heart to most say? Or did you say everything else? That's the first question we ask ourselves. So let me not spend too much time there. What's up, Lanisha? I see you. And let me know where you're tuning in from, y'all. I know I'm kind of getting caught up in my notes. Well, not my notes, really my rant. That was my rant. So let me keep going here. Share screen. So that's the first question. Okay, did I do /say /accomplish all that God sent me there to do /say /accomplish? Question number 2, man, did I accomplish my speech outcome? And I should probably, reorder these, by the way. So my assistants watching this, we help people out. But did I accomplish my speech outcome? Man, I feel like I've been saying this so many times over and over again. And it was one of my mentors that said this to me, Daryl, the world does not need more speakers. The world needs more leaders who are willing to speak. The world does not need more speakers. The world needs more leaders who are willing to speak. I would say the world does not need more preachers. The world needs more practicers who are willing to preach. And however you wordsmith it, it's like, if you think about the fact that when we talk, we're really not, for the sake of empowering and changing lives, we're not just conveying information. We're not teaching somebody how to put together a refrigerator. We're not talking about that type of technical training. We're talking about how do you grow your life, quantumly change your company, transform your health in a reduced time or with more depth and connection, relationships. You're a speaker there to bring, what they say, decades of growth in days, right? That's what the value of paying a speaker is for. And so when you think about my evaluating my speech, you got to say, did I accomplish the outcome? And the challenge where I'm getting stuck is that most people don't even design their talks based upon an outcome in mind. They're just like, oh, here's my information. They're not thinking is the person growing, adopting? Are they going from point A to point Z? They're just like, did I say everything I wanted to say? And it's like, no. Did you accomplish the outcome? And so, let's say that the outcome of my communication talk is that people will be able to communicate more clearly, concisely and compellingly so that they could more effectively drive sales and deepen their culture, right? Let's just say that's my outcome of my speech. So that's the lens and filter through which I want to look through. So you got to determine when you're looking at your speech of what was my actual outcome. And if you didn't have one, make sure on your next one you have one and you design an outcome. So I'm pulling up the screen here again so I can share it. So did I accomplish my speech outcome? Okay, so that's what I mean by that. 3, was my main point clear? And this is kind of like the similar, like, no, it's not the same thing. Speech outcome is like the journey A to Z. I just described to you one. Main point is like, if you don't get but one thing, make sure you get this. That's the main point. And you'd be surprised of the amount of times I've done talks and I've said everything but the main thing. I mean, I said good things. I mean, I said saucy things. I mean, I said, things that'll make you go, I said all the things. Oh my gosh. But I did not say the main thing. The main thing. So can I get my main point across? And I literally will put that at the top. This is my outcome. This is my main point. Make sure I get this. Okay. Did I finish on time? And then here's my actual time. And the reason why I have finish on time and actual time is for finish on time is, I think, just diligence, integrity with the stage. Like, even if I hear a lot of times, oh man, I went over, or oh man, they went from 45 minutes to 30 minutes, though. That's part of being a professional speaker. You got to be able to handle it if last minute issues happen. That's why they paying a pro and not just letting like the employee that's going to say half the same stuff you're going to say it. It's because, can you handle it when the microphone goes off? Can you do okay if the PowerPoint shuts down? If the audience is dull and stale after lunch, do you have any type of tools to get them re-engaged? It's funny, when I do virtual presentations, sometimes the rub that I'll get in the sales process or the bureaus that represent me are like, what does he do to engage the audience online virtually? And it's like, does he do polls? Is he doing surveys? Are he getting people typing in the chat? And I'm like, yes, maybe all, like, if I need it for the outcome. But I said, let me tell you something. Like they're like, how's it going to be engaging? I was like, listen, I'm engaging. Like, I don't have to do engagement when I'm engaging. Does that make sense? And I don't mean that in a prideful way. I just mean, like, I'm not just sitting there talking monotone the whole time, teaching technical. I'm sharing heart, story, passion, training. And yes, I do get people talking, and I can interact and be like, type this in the chat. Like right now, what's up, Chris? What's up? I am Christian. Holla at your boy. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Let me know what you're taking away. Let me know what's your number one thing that you do to review your speech. Actually, that's a good question. I kind of do want to know that. Okay. So I could spend some time doing that, and I would wait for responses, and I would affirm, and I would like, oh, y'all, did y'all hear that? Like, hey, yo, who else can agree? Hey, type agree in the chat. Like, so I'm engaging. I don't have to do engagement tips. I don't have to say, hey, AI, how can I make this more interactive? I'm interactive. Does that make sense? Okay. So, it had nothing to do with it. I finished on time. Let me go back to my, all my like analytical people's like, Daryl, stick to the review. Give us the process. Okay. Did I do / say what God sent me there to do, or whatever you want to say? Did I accomplish my speech outcome? Was my main point clear? Did I finish on time? What was my actual time? Because that's what I was gonna say. Creates time awareness, and it's so good to be like, oh, I know about what 45 minutes feels like, about what 30 minutes feels like, about what 15 minutes feels like. Like, I've just trained myself, because sometimes there's not a clock, or I can't see the clock, or I forgot my glasses or my contacts. And then I gotta go with what my body knows, and I can't be off. So I'd rather be like, okay, I know the 45-minute mark. Yep. It's because I've like done it, watched the film, seen why I went 5 minutes over, was in my head, knew why I took too long. And then I started to develop a better time awareness. Now, will I get going sometimes and forget? Yeah, people at my socials will be like, okay, Daryl, then why did you go 30 minutes over? It was my event. That's why. It wasn't the event they pay me for. And I usually don't go over for events they pay me for, like, at all. In fact, I always try to end a little early. Okay, like 1 minute. Okay. Word choice. Let's go to word choice. Did I say any specific words worth remembering? Did I say anything that I need to clean up slash reword? How do I resolve what's blocking me? Okay. So I get asked all the time when people want me to listen, review their speeches. Is like, they're like, it comes in so many ways, y'all. Like, it's like some of it's like, what do you think? And then what they're saying is like, what's the best way to say what I'm trying to say? So some of it's like phraseology. Others of it's like, how do I say it in a way that's more sticky? Okay, like how do I turn it into alliteration, an acronym, a little saying, a little rhyme, a little rhythm? Like, how do I put some sauce on that thing so that people remember how saucy it tastes, right? Word choices, word play, word smithing. Okay. So I'm assessing my words that I'm doing. Like, am I saying things in ways that are memorable? Can I say it concisely, differently? Is it clear? Because they say you confuse, you lose. George Bernard Shaw said the single biggest problem in communication is the illusion that it has occurred. So it is us assuming because we said it that they understood it. That's the problem. So I'm assessing not just what I'm saying and is it clear and concise, compelling, easy to remember, and sticky, but I'm also like trying to see, did it land when I delivered it? Okay, because maybe I've got the right recipe, but not the right approach. You ever have people try to approach you with food at the mall, and it's like, man, I actually want to taste the food, but you all up in my face, so I don't want to taste it anymore. And sometimes when you deliver your speech, you all up in people's face and they don't want to taste it anymore. And if that's your style, that's cool. I tend to bend that way because I was an athlete. I was in a lot of charismatic churches. And so I tend to be a little bit when I get popping. But I've also have learned that turns people away a lot. And so I gotta be myself, but also have a different approach so that the same or different types of people can get the information, so that even if you're not like me or like my temperament or like my style, I can still adjust and tailor my approach to make sure. And everybody, I think sometimes we get in this debate of, am I not being myself? And when I get back to the sense of you're trying to help somebody, that's the point. And the best way I know is like when I've done like talks and there's been translators there. It's like everybody gets that if there's a translator translating something in another language, you got to kind of make sure that how you're delivering it in your language is probably stripped of a lot of extra rhetoric, slowed down in way more places because of the time and need to translate. And then also, like, you just got to feel if it's landing in their language like it's landing in yours. So it's a whole different dynamic. And if you've done that, and you'll know, like, oh, I learned a lot about the fact that I could be saying it crispy and clear and even be connected and feeling good myself. But that doesn't mean that it's landing with the other person. So my word choice is like, also, like, am I saying it well, but also is it being received well? Does that make sense? Okay. So let me go back to more. Okay, so that's word choice. Storytelling, was it engaging? Subpoint, flow. What do I want to say about storytelling? I mean, I can tell you what I'm currently working on because there's always levels to the craft, right? Like, and this is what my wife is really, really good at. Like, I'm currently working on telling a cohesive story without tangents from beginning to end. Because I be tangenting like the best tangenters, and it messes it up sometimes. So I'm getting infinitely better at not going on these crazy tangents, and telling the story from beginning, middle, and end in a way that's not confusing my audience. Okay. And I love it because when I do it, I can feel the true effect of storytelling more um, obviously. And to me, that would be one of the first things I'm assessing when I'm reviewing someone's ability to storytell. Like, number one is, understand the story, or did you not finish it, or did you leave like a big gap out? Um, and then the other really main lens is like, is the story relevant to the point you're making? You know, Les Brown used to always say, never make a point without telling a story, never tell a story without making a point. And it's like stories are enhancing our understanding of the points that we're making. And just pay attention to all communication. It's literally just stories, points, stories, points, stories, points. And so when I'm assessing storytelling and giving it a rate of 1 to 10, I'm trying to see like, how did I do in using the story to enhance the understanding, the adoption of, the follow through on what it is that the story is emphasizing. Okay. And a lot of times that's much richer than we could ever imagine, because there's so much happening when we share stories. There's happening in our brain, in our bodies, in our minds, and in the same way in other people. So there's just so much. Um let me go here. Okay. Um so that's storytelling. So engaging, relevant, subpoint, the flow of it. I think it's good to have all that stuff, but I gave you a little bit more of a kind of a higher level assessment lens. Again, you know, this is kind of standard that I give people, like, hey, check, you know, use your speech, but there's layers of conversations we can have in each of these. And that's why you see answer in a few sentences, elaborate in a few sentences. And the reason why it's not just only a scale of 1 to 10 is because the elaboration is where you get the evolution. You know, it's when you actually get into the details of like, there it is. Yep. That you're like, that's how I improve. That's how I get better. So that's storytelling. We can go body language, vocal, content, intro. This is dissecting the speech. I think that's enough. I feel like I've been talking for a long time. That's a lot of information to consume, and I think I talked about enough that you could just go work on that, you know, today. And you know, I man, I'm teaching a lot more because of two reasons. Like in December, God was like, "Hey, man, if you don't scale your company, I'm gonna find somebody who will." And I was like, "All right, don't find nobody. I'm going." And so I've been like following that. And I don't know. There's this the story of David and Goliath comes up in the moment. And I'm thinking about David, who hears Goliath screaming, threatening his troops and saying, you know, no one can defeat me. Send me your best soldier. I'm paraphrasing, you know, like just taunting, flexing. And other people were just kind of taking the taunting. And then David goes, "Hey, who is this uncircumcised Philistine?" And he asked that question. And I think, like, for me, hearing all this rhetoric around AI and a job replacement and da 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 and these horror stories, I've gone, who is this uncircumcised Philistine? And why are we falling for these narratives? And why don't we recognize our power to create? And why aren't we using our gift to share our story and our message and the things that we believe in, to advance causes, to change organizations, to stand for justice? To like, why are we so afraid to use our voice? Our voice. That's what a speech is. It's your voice. I should hear your sound, not just hear you speaking. Like, you should be saying something worth listening to. So for me, AI has been this Goliath that's like, and I use AI a lot. So this isn't like humans versus AI, but it very much feels like that. And so I'm in the human communication camp. I believe in your voice. I believe your voice, your story, your mission, your purpose actually matter. So when you're reviewing your speech and you're asking, did I say / do accomplish what God sent me there to say / do / accomplish? What's my main point? What's my speech outcome? Am I finishing on time? Am I developing time awareness? Do I know word choices so I make it more sticky and more memorable so people take more action? Am I telling stories in a way that are enhancing the points and helping to tell them in a way that opens up understanding beyond just me because of the emotion and the energy that I tell the stories with? Am I growing in those areas for the sake of impacting more people? You know, I got so sick of people being like, if I just impact one person, I love the heart, I love the sentiment, but I don't want to stand in front of 100 people and impact one. I want to stand in front of 100 people and impact 1,000 people, because I don't want to just impact the people that are in the room. I want to impact the people that are in the room so much that they impact the people that they're connected to. So you're never just talking to the people in the room. You're always talking to who they're connected to, if you connect with it. And so that is at the heart of why any of this matters. It's not to be like, you're nailing it. This is not the speech review to up-level your speech so that you become a performer. This is a speech review so that you up-level your speech to become a more effective healer, a more powerful, influential catalyst for positive change. So if that's you, type yes in the chat, okay? And let me know what's your biggest takeaway. What's up, Jenny? What's up, Sean? What's up, DJ? What up, Alicia? What up, Diana? I know, y'all. I've been rambling. Okay. I hope this is helpful. That's the speech review. And remember, if you want the sheet, just type speech review. I'll give you the little sheet I was going through. I didn't go through all the questions. I can come back like, I don't know. I'm not going to say a time because they'll be like, you said. Yes. What's up, Silent Trainer? I miss you. That's what's up, man. So I love y'all. Should I do Q&A? No, I don't want to do that right now. I ain't gonna lie to you. No Q&A. I'm sleepy. All right. If I was coaching my clients right now, I'd be like, hey, do not end your stream that way. Be more professional. No, I wouldn't. I'd be like, did you lead them to an outcome? Okay. So at this point, my outcome is that you understand the purpose and the process of how to up-level your speech so that you can impact more people. Okay. And by the way, we're hosting an Extracting Genius Multiplying Impact Retreat June 4th through 7th out in a little about 30 minutes outside of Nashville, helping you to extract your highest position of a story, to see your entire ecosystem of messages. Like if you have a couple audiences that you speak to, we're going to help you align that message to your market opportunities as speaking and lead gen, in-person stages, some virtual stages as well. Connect you to a bureau who can give you some perspective and also teach you their perspective. I tell people I'm going to actually argue the affirmative. I'm going to tell you the opposite of what the bureau is going to tell you, just to be like, here's both sides of the coin. Choose both, a hybrid, a little bit of both, traditional publishing, self-publishing. So we're talking about that. And then last night we're having a little intimate networking dinner where we're going to connect you with some entrepreneurs who are going to support you. Okay. So if you want to be a part of that type retreat in the chat, we'd love to talk about hosting you, facilitate you in that space. There'll be 8 people at this retreat. So what I want to do is I want to get a lot of conversations and be like, yes, these are the next 8. So I'm excited. So I'll type of information on our pages wherever you're at, but type retreat and I'll send it directly to you. So 2 call to actions, speech review, and then retreat if you want to come out to Nashville. Come get it. All right, y'all. Peace.